If all this wasn't enough, in Antrim County, ballots were counted for Democrats that were meant for Republicans, causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates.
We're sure by now you've heard the story of this 6,000 vote swing going from Biden to President Trump. However, do you know the full story? It's much larger than most are reporting on. My name is Justice Knight, today filling in for Lisa Haven. I'm co-host of Restricted Republic, and we felt it imperative that you get the bigger picture of what's happening involving this story in a company called Dominion. Dominion running the election machines and tabulators, well, according to them, in 28 states plus Puerto Rico and 12 of the top 20 counties in the United States. And they just so happen to be located in all the swing states. But what's even worse than that is that this voting machine added a lobbyist who is the ex-chief of staff for Nancy Pelosi, and that is just the beginning of this sordid saga that can impact the very end result of the 2020 presidential election. Now, before we go any further, if you haven't subscribed to Lisa here on YouTube, I certainly hope you will. I put a white hand there pointing to the button you got to click. If you haven't subscribed to me yet, just this night, Lisa's going to leave a link just above my left shoulder. If you can go ahead and click on that and subscribe, it would be most certainly appreciated. If you haven't made it over to Restricted Republic yet, we're giving you 14 days free right now. We're going to extend this story even into greater details as to how a recount and also a recalculation could occur and how each state's rules apply to that very recount. Lisa also asked me to give a shout out to her sponsor, NobleGoldInvestment.com. With so much uncertainty in the markets and election 2020, you might be worried about what's going to happen with your retirement plans. Well, Noble Gold has the answer. Start a qualified Gold IRA or 401k before November, and Noble Gold Investments is going to give you this 1/10 ounce coin absolutely free. Once again, with that qualified gold-backed IRA or 401k. An incredible offer, an incredible company. Please go over to NobleGoldInvestments.com. But now let's get back on with this story. Published on Politico, Georgia election official. Machine glitch caused by last-minute vendor upload. This machine, we were just talking about Michigan. Now we're down in Georgia, having a last-minute glitch, a software upload, delaying voting for 2 hours in select counties in Georgia. The same Dominion machine we were speaking about. This on the Detroit Free Press. Fixed computer glitch turns losing Republican into a winner in Oakland County. So we want to expand this. This wasn't only the votes impacting Biden-Trump. It went further. A computer error led election officials in Oakland County to hand an upset victory Wednesday to a Democrat, only to switch the win back to an incumbent Republican a day later. In Oakland County's 15th County Commission District, representing Rochester and Rochester Hills, the initial count gave a 104-vote margin to the Democrat, Melanie Hartman, amounting to a razor-thin majority. However, that result was then overturned. Apparently, there was a technical glitch in Rochester Hills, and so I actually ended up winning by a little over 1,100 votes. That's a major shift and begs a larger question. What is the integrity involving these machines? You see them here in the high-stakes election. Georgia's voting system vulnerable to cyber attack. This was an article published not too long ago. They seem to have identified the very machines we're now discussing not only having the software glitch, but also being vulnerable or open to cyber attack. I just want to paint a picture for you. This is a much larger story, and it will continue to expand as more details come to fruition. All we're concerned about is the integrity of an election, accuracy. It's easier to accept whatever result comes out if we know we're being given the proper numbers. But this is calling into question certain numbers throughout the country. Fix coming to Georgia touchscreens to restore missing Senate candidates. Once again, this involving the Dominion machines. Dominion Voting System, the company at the center of Michigan and Georgia voting glitches. It sounds like fodder for conspiracy theorists, but thus far, everything we've seen about Dominion Voting System seems to be worthy of attention. And it most certainly does. Now we're going to give you what the company and representatives are stating is happening. Listen in here for just a moment.
It's becoming clear that what happened in Antrim County was a human error in dealing with the software system there. Humans make errors, and that's why our checks and balances here in our election process are so important.
This also being released from Dominion Voting Directly, statement on viral rumors about ballots marked with Sharpie pens. Sharpie pens are safe and reliable to use on ballots and recommended due to their quick drying ink. Regarding potential ink bleed-through, Dominion systems never allow for the creation of ballots with overlapping vote bubbles between the front and back pages of a ballot. If you use a Sharpie provided by your election office to complete your ballot, please know that your vote was accurately recorded. Now, for those of you who've been following the storyline, you'll understand that that involves the state of Arizona. And it's critical we remember the map of all the states where the Dominion system is being utilized. All the swing states: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois. Key battleground states. Those we've been discussing now for days, and it appears weeks, if not months, as hard as that is to say, but it begs a larger question. When you take a county, Antrim County right here, I'll go full screen just so it's a bit easier to capture, remembering that this county voted, according to that machine at one point in time, blue. Now completely in the red by a large majority. A variance vote that's of grand concern. Breitbart reported on it further. Glitch caused 6,000 Michigan ballots meant for Republicans to go to Democrats. Well, that's again just a sliver of the story. You saw the rumor control that we put out. Sure, that company statement was out there for you to read. The same company that reported glitches with software updates in contested polling locations in Georgia is also behind the software glitch that seemingly reversed 6,000 or so votes in the county in Michigan. Dominion Voting System, which claims to work with 1,300 voting jurisdictions, including 9 of the 20 largest counties in the nation, produced a software used in Michigan that erroneously gave Democratic candidate Joe Biden a 3,000 vote advantage in Antrim County after the glitch was fixed. It was discovered that President Donald Trump actually won the county by 2,500 votes. Of course, that has many people asking the question, how else and what else and where else that this machine or software is being utilized could be experiencing the same technical glitch. Voting software used in Michigan County with skewed results also used in mid-Michigan. Georgia election officials, machine glitch caused by last-minute vendor upload. Going back to that article, a technical glitch that halted voting in 2 Georgia counties on Tuesday morning was caused by a vendor uploading an update to their election machine the night before. A county election supervisor said voters were unable to cast machine ballots for a couple hours in Morgan and Spalding counties after the election device crashed. In response to delays, Superior Court Judge W. Fletcher Sams extended voting until 11 p.m. The counties using voting machines made by Dominion Voting System and electronic poll books used to sign in voters made by No Ink. The company uploaded something last night, which is not normal, and it caused a glitch, says Marcia Ridley, election supervisor at Spalding County Board of Elections. That glitch prevented poll workers from using the poll books to program smart cards that the voters inserted into the voting machines. Georgia uses Dominion voting machines and Knowing Poll Pads statewide, systems that the state only deployed in every county for the first time this year after replacing its 20-year-old electronic voting system. It's not clear why other Georgia counties did not have the same problem Morgan and Spalding had. You see how this story starts to take a different road, a different path. Now, for the first time it's ever been used, Nevada counting ballots electronically for the first time they've ever been used using Dominion Voting System. Tech company says its software isn't to blame for ballot hiccups in Georgia's Gwinnett County. No, there's another county impacted by the Dominion software system. There's no evidence of any system software problem, says Kay Stimson, Dominion Voting System Vice President of Governmental Affairs. In an email, my understanding is that the system was hanging at certain points and processing adjudicated ballots. Well, this software now, we've shown you 4 or 5 examples of where it's glitched, is controlling nearly 40% of all the machines in the country. Is this going to blow up to be a much larger issue? And again, when you're seeking election integrity, it's imperative that you understand all the details of what surrounds that, because that's all any of us are asking for: election integrity. Remember, the voting machine firm adds the lobbyist. That lobbyist, the ex-chief of staff to Nancy Pelosi, represents Dominion Software. Voting machine manufacturers are increasing their Capitol Hill. Let me make that a little bit larger, a little bit easier to read for you. Voting machine manufacturers are increasing their Capitol Hill presence as lawmakers demand that they do more to protect U.S. elections against foreign hackers. Look at the date of this article, April 1st, 2019. Dominion Voting Systems, which commands more than a third of the voting machine market without having Washington lobbyists, has hired its first and high-powered firm that includes a longtime aide to Speaker Nancy Pelosi's. This is how Nancy Pelosi is connected to Dominion voting machines. Dominion's first ever lobbying firm is Brownstein, Farber, Hyatt, and Schreck. Pelosi's former chief of staff is one of the lobbyists on the account. We want to make sure that we are telling the story of what Dominion is and how deeply the company is invested in our mission, hopefully dispelling myths about our industry along the way. Kay Stimpson again coming out with another statement, but being very quiet right now about our machines. This on Politico: Georgia likely to plow ahead with buying insecure voting machines. They're discussing in this article the Dominion voting machine. This article published on March 28th of 2019. You see, there's been suspicion about this machine for a very long time. It's nothing that we're making up. You have the sources that even the tech titans like to utilize, this being on Politico, just to ground the basis, so much so that they had to come up with 2 bills, of course, that haven't passed, to protect against machines just like this. H.R. 378, the Safeguarding Election Infrastructure Act of 2019, and H.R. 1 for the People Act of 2019. Both, as you see, on the bar just below, never becoming law, but yet we made it to an election, which will beg a much larger question. We've now shown you how many states that these machines are utilized in. If you didn't realize at the start of this video how important this information is going to become during the production of the video, out comes the announcement that Joe Biden has been elected president by the mainstream media, of course, but nonetheless making this story even more critical. And we're going to move it over now to Restricted Republic, conclude the video here, and talk deeper as to why this is such a paramount story and such a critical storyline. So much so that the Supreme Court, Justice Alito, orders ballots received after 8 p.m. on Election Day in Pennsylvania to be segregated and secured, while they gather more information. The information they're gathering leads to further questions. We have multiple whistleblowers coming out on what their feelings are on the election, still being exposed. We have more ballots still showing up. To today, more ballots. Postal Service delivers 40,000 more ballots after court-ordered sweep. The integrity of the election is all we're concerned about. The question about these machines, miscounting ballots, proven now by every source that you can see, spread out in every swing state in the nation, the question is, how big of an impact do they have? There's too much now connecting details, proven by even mainstream media sources, talked about by mainstream media sources alone. And I want you to remember one key clip before I leave you here that will send chills up the back of your spine before we transition this over to Restricted Republic. If you haven't subscribed to Lisa, please do. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I certainly hope you will. Lisa will leave a link below also. But remembering one key clip as I leave you here today, and this Dominion voting system, and Nancy Pelosi's unusual connection with the company, remember this, and it's going to leave everybody scratching their head and saying there's just sometimes too many coincidences not to investigate further. Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.
I feel very confident that Joe Biden will be elected president on Tuesday, whatever the end count is.